Hello, hello, everyone. Thanks for dropping in. This is Healing Body, Mind, and Soul, and I'm your host, Aeriol Asher. Today, I have the honor and privilege to interview my new friend, B. Cal. And I'm so excited about the topic. I think that this is going to empower a lot of people. We are going to be talking about removing money blocks or healing money blocks or misbeliefs, if you will, and how to use the law of attraction and all kinds of wonderful magic that my friend over at the Manifesting Squad is going to talk about. I'm especially excited today because this caller is coming all the way from Germany. She's in Frankfurt, or just outside of Frankfurt. And I just think that that's so exciting. As my listeners know, I'm in the Silicon Valley in California, just south of San Francisco. So it is an honor and a pleasure to connect with healers, transformational coaches, and new thought leaders all over the planet. So, B, I'm so stoked to have you here today.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
It's wonderful to connect with you, and I'm so interested in your work. Can you please tell our listeners a little about who you are and what you do?
So I help women to manifest more abundance and more money into their lives by removing their manifestation blocks. And manifestation blocks are beliefs that we have about ourselves or about the world. For example, like money is hard to earn. And these blocks literally keep away what we want to manifest in our life. They are like a wall around us and don't allow the abundance flow into our lives.
Correct. What are some other of these beliefs that might, isn't like even I'm not enough or I'm not worthy? They can be really core beliefs. Is that right, B?
Yes, absolutely.
Not just about money, but about the identity or the person themselves.
Yes, absolutely. Especially the belief I am not enough is a very underlying, deeply rooted belief and block that so many people, so many of us carry within us, that then gets translated into our energy fields. And it's something that we really, really need to work on, because if you, first of all, do not know what your blocks are, how can you ever remove them, right? So the first step is to really discover what are my blocks. And then the next step is to work on them, to remove them, so you can allow the abundance that you deserve to flow into your life.
Now, B, when you say remove them, what kind of techniques do you work with your clients to do such a thing?
So I use two kind of techniques. One is energy healing, and the other is very practical, more hands-on exercises. So with energy healing, I help people to connect to the universal energy so that they can work with that source energy and work through their blocks and let that source energy just remove these blocks for them, because these are blocks are usually seated in our energy field, and connecting to the higher energy helps us to just make use of this higher power and to work with it to remove these blocks. And then I also love to do some more practical hands-on exercises to create the feeling of abundance in people's lives. For example, how can you create the feeling of abundance? You can remove or change up things in your life that make you feel not abundant. A good example for my life, for example, in the past, I never used to buy blueberries because I thought blueberries are so expensive, and I rather just gonna stick to apples and bananas and all the other fruits. And but that thought created a feeling of created the feeling of not being abundant. It was really something that bothered me, and it can be something else for everybody. For me, it was the blueberries. For someone else, it can be maybe going out for dinner once a month, or just buying some nice perfume, something. So everybody has something else, and for me it was the blueberries, and I changed that up, and it really helped me to step into the feeling and the presence of abundance in my life.
Yes, you deserve blueberries, B. I know, I know. Now, this example, this is a beautiful example, right? I live in the Bay Area, and granted, in California, it may be very easy for me to get fruit of any season or whatever. But this is such a practical example for our listeners to lean into. This is wonderful because it can be all kinds of things. It can be whether or not you go and get your manicure. It can be whether or not you treat yourself to an ice cream cone. It can be any of these things. Am I right, B? Or am I getting off track here?
No, yes, absolutely. Whether or not you take a bubble bath with your favorite glass of wine once in a while, or you go and get that nice chocolate, or you go and have a nice weekend trip. So things like that can really make a big difference. And when we create the feeling, the emotion of abundance in our presence, in our present moment, we will send out the energy of abundance. And as like energy attracts like energy, we will be able to attract way more abundance back into our lives, and it will just supercharge our manifesting powers, as I like to call it.
You got it. I love these manifesting powers, of course. So, well, that is wonderful. So, what I hear you saying is that people should really be a VIP in their own life, right? And really put their own self-care and their own and their own needs first. But I think it takes a little bit of self-awareness, B, to get to the point that you know that, oh my gosh, I am totally depriving myself of blueberries, right? I mean, to be at that point where you're aware that for some reason you always stop at the blueberries or whatever it is. We're using blueberries as an example because I love it. But so how can people get to that point of awareness, B? Do you have anything that you work on people? Any superpowers you've got hiding over there?
So for one thing, people can really think about their own lives and see what is bothering them. So what area makes them or creates the feeling of not being abundant. So that's one thing where you can think about it and just discover an area that bothers you. And another good way to discover blocks, for example, is to think about our childhood and trying to remember what our parents used to say about money, about love, or any other area that you want to change. So did your parents come home and say, oh, I have to work so hard, I hate my job? Or do you know how hard your mom or dad has to work so we can afford that? Or we do not have money to buy this is too expensive.
Turn off the lights. I don't know if you had that. I could turn off the lights. I remember, oh, I have a good one, B. I have a good one because, you know, I like to look fabulous. So when I was a child, I remember we moved into a new house, and my mother was a single mother, and really, really money was tight. Right now, my grandparents were kind of around, and they helped out once in a while, and I spent a lot of time at their house. But I remember when we moved into this one place, my mother put a light fixture that had all of these light bulbs, like a movie star, right around the mirror. And she said, you better turn those lights off because I know you're going to take forever curling your hair and doing your makeup and everything. And so I had like this attachment, like I couldn't have the Hollywood lights on. So I had to put my makeup on in the dark because I didn't. I'm exaggerating for the point. But this is one of those things that we're talking about, right? And it's ingrained in me to check those lights and make sure that they're out. Because I hear, you know, and my mother, bless her heart, says that she does not remember this conversation, but it's ingrained in my memory. I'm sure you have other client stories that are like that.
Yeah, so yeah, because as kids we pick up all these beliefs and without really having a conscious say in them. Your mom doesn't even remember it, but it was so important to you that you just picked up this belief or these thoughts and felt this limits somewhere. And I will always recommend not telling your kids this is too expensive, you cannot afford it. Instead of, it's better to say we choose not to buy it now. So it's a choice. Yes. That's way more empowering, and that will just help the kids when they grow up way more to be very conscious about, because you make a choice and it's your own power and you can choose to do it or you can choose not to do it, but it's your decision, and it's not something, it's not a limited resource that you're dealing with. So that's super important. And yeah, thinking about the child really helps to uncover what blocks you have. Or another good way is to think about issues that come up in your life over and over again. So are there repeated issues, problems that come up? Do you struggle with making money, losing money, making money, losing money? Or do you always struggle and try to make ends meet? Or do you feel uncomfortable with money no matter how much you have? So these are actually, these issues are kind of love gifts from the universe, because it wants to tell you, hey, you have some issue there. You need to look at this area and grow from it, because we are here to grow as spirits, as human beings, and the universe actually just wants you let you know that you have something that you need to deal with and grow from it. Yeah.
B, when I'm listening to you talk, I love it. And I'm thinking of a client that I have that was so funny, who we worked on some money blocks, and maybe you have some more to say about it. We worked on some havingness issues. I'll describe it like that. Some havingness and worthiness issues. And something weird happened. Like, she was able to then manifest in her business more clients at higher price tags, and really start moving some things. But an interesting thing happened, and I don't know if you witnessed this in your work. An interesting thing happened was then she would manifest these crises in her life, and even though she was dealing with much higher numbers before, we were like, you know, like she was going into scarcity to make all of her ends meet. Now she was dealing with higher numbers, but then the catastrophes that were happening started being in higher numbers. So she actually had more flow coming into her, but there was also something going on there where it was always balancing out. There was never overflow or even flow, because as fast as it would come in, it would come out. Can you speak to why that would be the case?
So there can be different issues when that happen, like you explained. So making money, losing money, making money, losing money. There could be some underlying issue of, thinking they cannot handle more money, or there might be an issue that they think money is the root of all evil, so unconsciously they try to sabotage it. So there are different kinds or kind of reasons that there can be. So yeah.
So even if they are removing one block, doesn't mean that the flow, like my client, she did get bigger numbers. That's what she was focusing on. And she got, of course, exactly what she was focusing on. But we didn't really address the underlying issues that were would have addressed the flow issue, rather than the numbers were not themselves the problem.
Yeah, so blocks are like layers of onion. Once you remove one layer, there is the next layer. It doesn't mean that you're still gonna develop and you'll get to the next stage and everything. So you can totally get from making 5,000 to 15,000 K per month. But there can be, as in your example, there can be, now there is a different issue that came up, and she resolved the issue of the flow, but she didn't resolve the issue of keeping money. So making money and keeping money are two different kind of things.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think in this, I mean, I know my client, and I have my suspect what it was. I'm just trying to have good examples here for our listeners. But I think what the underlying issue there is a little bit different. I think it was more like she didn't want to be responsible for it. So it really wasn't a money issue. It was like she didn't really want to be responsible for being a good steward for where the money management happened there. So that's a whole different can of worms. So B, I believe that you have a group. Manifesting Squad is your business there, and you do you serve one-on-one clients, or do you do classes? What is it that is in your world happening over there in Germany?
So I offer one-on-one coachings because I like to dive deep in. I like to figure out where the root issues are and help to remove those and really get the best results for my clients. And usually I do this 3-month program where every 2 weeks we would meet and talk about the issues, and for in between you'd get homeworks. So we prepare it, and so that my clients really get the best development also out of it.
Awesome. Now, do you work remotely? Do people need to be in Germany if they're going to work with you, B?
No, it's all remote. It's all online, so they can be anywhere in the world.
That's just fantastic. Now, if our listeners are thinking they might like to reach out to you, what is a way that they can get in contact with you or be in your sphere?
So they can come to my website called manifestingsquad.com and connect via that page, or they can come to my Facebook group where I share tons of valuable information, which is also called Manifesting Squad. Or on my website, they can book a free session with me so we can figure out what they want and what the issues are for them to get there. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that is so amazing. You heard it here, manifestingsquad.com. You're gonna wanna get yourself a session and see if you have any of these hidden blocks to manifesting the abundance that you actually deserve in your life. Now, B, we only have a moment more. Is it possible that you can give our listeners a juicy tip that they can do today to start manifesting more in their life?
Yeah, so instead of you using affirmations, they should use questions. So I'm not a fan of telling my subconscious mind, I am wealthy, I am rich, I am rich. If you're not, you won't really believe it. But if you ask the universe, what would it take for me to earn more money? What would it take for me to earn an extra $500 or an extra $1,000 per month? Ask the universe a question and you will receive the answer.
Yes, and if the answer is because you have a huge money block, make sure you get hold of B, because she's going to be the person to get that money block out of your energetic field and out of your subconscious mind. B, it has been such an honor and a pleasure to be with you today. I hope you'll come back and do another interview, maybe next quarter or something. I love these reoccurring guests. I would love for our readers, I would love for our listeners, if you are a practitioner, if you are a new thought leader, a teacher, or a transformational coach, please reach out to me, Aeriol Asher. Online, Facebook is great. Or the Healing Body, Mind, and Soul podcast network online. And see about our book project. It may be right for you. We want to get as much empowering information in the hands of the people of the world so that we can really heal our planet. Anyway, so enough for my public service announcement. You can see that book project at www.soma, S-O-M-A, sound, S-O-U-N-D, therapy.com/book project. Okay, it doesn't get any easier. B, you're amazing. Thank you so much for coming on. Thanks for helping us all open our hearts, remove our money blocks, and thrive in our lives. And for the rest of our listeners, until next time, happy healing.